We, of course, have been reporting on the rise in anti-Asian hate crimes. You've probably seen some of the videos of those terrible attacks. Some of the attackers have been black men. Tonight in Facing Race, King 5's Natalie Swaby looks at the historical tension between black Americans and Asian Americans and gives us some 21st century context.
He came to Chinatown to look for a victim with a weapon in his pocket. He avoided my partner. He went out of his way to strike me. I could feel my mask was filling up with blood. If I smile, it's just my face is lopsided.
On February 25th, Noriko Nasu says she was left with 4 broken teeth, 3 facial fractures, and a concussion. Her case is a story she wants people to hear. It happened right here in Seattle's Chinatown International District. A neighborhood that now has a night watch.
We realized the need, some people need protection while walking through this neighborhood. They don't feel safe.
This community-based effort started 9 months ago in response to a rise in vandalism and violence.
I have also experienced remarks regarding the coronavirus directed at me. I feel offended. I feel sad and angry at the same time.
It's terrible, but the only way we can handle it, the only way to move forward is to get organized and not put up with it.
An Asian piece of shit.
From a man being shoved and spit on in Seattle to a woman knocked down and stomped on in New York to comments like this.
Go back to whatever Asian country you belong in.
Stop AAPI Hate, an advocacy group tracking the escalation of xenophobia and bigotry, says it's received nearly 3,800 reports of hate incidents targeting Asian Americans across the country since the pandemic began.
Anti-Asian violence has been a problem as long as I've been alive, but very rarely does it break through.
Vince Schweitweiler teaches Asian American and African American studies at the University of Washington. He says attention is being paid now to cases like the Atlanta mass shooting that claimed 8 lives. 6 of the victims were women of Asian descent. The shooter, a white man, claims the attack was not motivated by hate. There's also been widely circulated videos that show black men attacking elderly Asian people, and that's brought up historical tensions between black and Asian American communities. The conflicts are well known in both of those communities, but often not talked about openly. We at Facing Race wanted to dive into this historic tension and how it relates to the overt hate many Asian Americans are facing today.
We should take this moment to challenge the narratives that would pit one group against another. Why is it so much easier to get attention for conflicts between black and Asian people, right? Why do Asian Americans make the news, make discussions of race, when they can be used against black and indigenous and other people of color?
Honestly, part of buying into the modern minority myth is buying into anti-black racism.
Shomya Tripathi with Asian Counseling and Referral Service says the model minority myth claims Asian Americans are successful and downplays racism.
For a long time, I think many Asian people, including South Asian people, have been sold the narrative that your proximity to whiteness will liberate you. The more closer you are to white people, the more money that you make, the more you put your head down, study hard, you will be free from racism is a narrative that we have been sold and has created this model minority myth. And I think seeing this rise in anti-Asian violence is just the most visceral example that is not true. I think that white supremacy is 100% what we should be focusing our attention on right now, and not how our communities have tension.
It's not only a history of tension between black and Asian American communities. Over the years, there's been solidarity too. And a good example of that is Seattle's Gang of Four, a group of 4 friends who for decades led a multicultural effort to fight for equality. We will hear from that group's surviving member about why that kind of unity is needed right now. We'll bring you that Facing Race story tomorrow.